The warning from the stars. The Galactic Senate Hall was silent. Only the flickering lights of the stars moved across the large, curved ceiling. Hundreds of alien species filled the chamber, each with their own voice, shape, and fear. But now, they all watched one word appear on the screen. Earth. The humans, hissed Grand Speaker Zothan, a scaled leader from the Serac Empire. They are unstable, emotional, and extremely violent. Others nodded, their eyes full of worry. They are not ready for the galaxy, one said. They should be contained, another added. But then a small alien, old and thin, slowly stood up. Her voice was quiet but firm. You don't understand them, she said. They are dangerous, yes, but not for the reasons you think. The room ignored her. The vote passed. Earth would be marked as a level 5 threat, and a scout ship was sent to observe, quietly from the shadows, high above Earth, hidden from all satellites. The scout ship floated. Its name was Ika's Whisper, and it was cloaked in black light. Inside, Commander Trill of the Grell species sat in front of a screen. He watched the planet below with curious eyes. Primitive weapons, he whispered, but too many. He zoomed in on a military parade, watching tanks roll and jets fly overhead. They love showing power, he added. Then the feed changed. He watched a news report. A war had ended in one part of the world. Human soldiers were helping children, giving them food and shelter. Trill tilted his head, confused. Strange, he muttered. Kindness and war in the same day. He moved the camera to a city. A man ran into a burning building to save a stranger. His body caught fire, but he still carried the child out. The humans watching cheered and cried. Trill leaned back in his chair. They risk death for people they don't even know, he said softly. Then the screen flashed red. A human military base. Detected something. Signal bounce, Trill said, eyes wide. They noticed us? He tapped buttons, tried to move the ship farther away, but Earth had already seen too much. Deep inside a hidden base in Alaska, General Maya stood still. A red dot blinked on the 3D screen. That's not a satellite, she said, and it's not ours. Her assistant looked nervous. Alien? He asked. Maya didn't answer. She only said, Wake up, Project Titan. Back in space, Commander Trill tried to retreat. His ship was fast, but Earth was faster. A blue beam shot past his vessel, not hitting him, but scanning through him. In seconds, Earth knew everything. Location, energy, language. Trill panicked. They cracked our code, he shouted. He sent an emergency report to the Senate. Earth is more advanced than we thought, emotionally unstable, but also emotionally strong. He paused, shaking. And they just told us to leave. In the Galactic Senate, the report arrived within hours. The room turned cold. They detected the scout, said one senator. They read his mind, said another. No, worse, whispered the old historian. They let him go, on purpose. The report showed something else too, a single message from Earth written in alien math. It was simple, only 4 words. We are watching too. The chamber fell silent again. No one spoke. Even Zothan, the proud Serac leader, looked nervous now. Prepare for war, he finally said. But the old historian shook her head. No, she said. Prepare for a lesson. Because the galaxy had just poked a sleeping wolf, and Earth had just opened one eye. Earth seized the eyes watching. In a dark command center beneath the ice of Antarctica, a red dot blinked on a black screen. General Maya stood over the monitor, arms crossed, silent. The room was cold, but her voice was colder. Someone's watching us, she said. The signal was weak but strange. It came from high orbit, beyond Earth's known satellites, but it wasn't a natural object. It moved too carefully. It wasn't human either. The machine was hiding, but not well enough. Cloak tech? One officer asked. Not ours, Maya said. She looked closer, zooming into the data. The object had strange energy, soft, quiet, almost like it was listening. We've been under surveillance, she whispered. She tapped her earpiece. Wake up Sentinel Corps, she ordered. Level Black Protocol. Far away, deep inside a mountain in Colorado, the Sentinel Corps came online. 12 AIs, each more powerful than anything the public knew. They worked silently, scanning space, unlocking patterns, and reading alien math like a child's drawing. They didn't just see the cloaked ship, they heard its whispers, its code, its pulse. Language detected, the AIs said in one voice. Signal type, non-human, species unknown, threat level, caution, monitor response. But Earth didn't want to just monitor. Earth wanted to send a message, not one made of fear, but of confidence. In the orbit above, Commander Trill sat inside the alien scout ship, chewing his lower lip. He watched Earth through his high-tech display, but then something strange happened. The stars around him shifted. The light curved, then snapped back into place. Trill blinked. "What was that?" he said aloud. Then alarms exploded inside his ship. Locked on, tracked, energy scan returned. He gasped. "They found me again?" No, not just found. Tagged. Earth was now reading every inch of his ship. His engines, his tech, even his heartbeat. At that same moment, Earth's deep space radar array spun like a whirlpool of eyes. Project Titan had been reactivated after 27 years of silence. A forgotten program built after the first Voyager probe left the solar system. It was Earth's answer to the question no one wanted to ask. What if someone is watching back? General Maya looked at the screen. The alien ship was small, weak, but it had sent data, lots of it, back into space. "Where's it going?" she asked. The AI answered, "Transmission direction, unknown regions, not any known system." She clenched her jaw. "They already told someone," she said. "Then we answer now." Earth's message was not sent through radio, not through words. It was sent through a light pulse, compressed mathematics and binary fire. And it wasn't soft. It was a punch through space. Trill watched the blast hit his sensors. Not a weapon, but it felt like one. A coded message crashed into his ship's brain. Only 4 words, but they carried weight. "We see you too." Trill's fingers trembled. He activated the return beacon, sending every byte back to the Galactic Senate. "They've found us," he reported, and they answered without fear. He paused. They warned us." Back on Earth, Maya turned to her staff. "Now we wait," she said. "Wait for what?" one soldier asked. Her eyes didn't blink as she replied, "For the real enemy to show their face." In deep space far beyond the moon, 5 hidden human satellites opened their eyes. They had no names, no IDs. They weren't listed in any registry, built by secret black-budget projects. Each one was a ghost that even Earth forgot. Until now, they turned quietly toward deep space. Each one aligned with a different star system. Each one armed with software that didn't just listen. It invaded. Earth had never trusted peace. Earth prepared for war the moment it touched the stars, and far beyond in a Senate. A chamber of stars and stone. The aliens received Trill's report. The screen showed Earth's reply. Those 4 haunting words again. The senators looked at one another, afraid to speak. Then the old historian stood once more. "They didn't shout," she said softly. "They whispered just loud enough to let us know," Zothan growled. "They don't want war." "No," the historian said, "but they're ready for it." And the galaxy had to decide. Would they back away or would they push the very species that just proved they were watching too? The vote to strike. The Galactic Senate was no longer quiet. Now it echoed with panic. Screens flashed red warnings. Reports flooded in. Earth had not only detected the scout ship but had sent a message back, a message that chilled even the most powerful empires. "We see you too." In the center of the chamber, Grand Speaker Zothan slammed his metal hand on the table. "They are not supposed to see beyond their sky," he shouted. "They were primitive, loud, divided. But they are watching," a senator from the ice world said. "And they are ready," whispered another. Then the room shook as the historian stepped forward again. She had been silent for centuries, a keeper of forgotten truths. "You feared them when they built bombs," she said. "You feared them when they sent metal birds into the void. But you never understood why humans fight." Zothan rolled his eyes. "They fight because they are violent," he said. "No," she replied calmly. "They fight because they remember pain." But her voice was lost as a new vote was called. A vote for war. On Earth, General Maya stood on a balcony overlooking the Pacific Command Tower. She already knew the vote would pass. Humans always knew when someone was preparing to strike, and so Earth moved first, quietly, without noise. She sent 2 words to every hidden outpost: Ghost Protocol. All over the world, underground bunkers came to life. Satellites adjusted their paths, old war programs, coded in the Cold War, updated in secret, were activated. Earth's defense didn't come from lasers or magic. It came from preparation. They had feared this moment since they first looked up at the stars. Meanwhile, deep in Senate space, fleets were forming. The vote had passed. Destroy Earth before it grows stronger. 3,000 ships from 12 empires, each carrying weapons that could boil oceans and shatter moons. Each ship had the same orders: reach Earth, crush them, leave no trace. But even among them, some doubted the plan. They did not attack first, said the ambassador of the Thalan people. They just answered. But they answered too well, another replied. No species should be able to scan a cloaked ship. No species should be able to read our encryption in minutes. One admiral, old and scarred, leaned forward and said, "Then perhaps we are not fighting a child race. Perhaps we are waking a sleeping elder." But the fleet still launched, because fear moves faster than reason. In orbit of Neptune, a single black object drifted silently. It had no heat, no signal. It had been sleeping for 51 years, but now it opened its eye. Codename, Hammerfall. The object began moving, not toward the aliens, but toward Earth's moon, because something had been built there, something old, something hidden even from most humans. Back in the Galactic Senate, a final warning came in from a scout probe. It had gotten closer to Earth's orbit, but what it saw was not a fleet, not missiles, not weapons. It saw machines, thinking, evolving machines, factories that built warships with no humans inside, AI fleets that were quiet, cold, and endless. The senator from the Lithari gas worlds whispered, "This is not how children defend." "No," the historian said, "this is how kings warn their enemies." Earth sent no reply to the declaration of war. They simply prepared. Every move was fast, clean, quiet. The kind of silence that comes before a storm that breaks. Mountains. Maya stood inside the Titan command center, watching a black screen come to life with red signals. "They're coming," her assistant said, voice trembling. She nodded. "And we will welcome them." She didn't mean with peace, she meant with truth. The kind that burned through metal and shattered arrogance. Because the galaxy had made one terrible mistake. They called humanity dangerous, and now they were going to learn just how right they were. The day Earth shut the stars down. In deep space, just beyond Mars, the first wave of the galactic fleet arrived. 3,000 ships shimmered in silver and gold, each one armed with weapons that had destroyed worlds before. The stars behind them looked small, and Earth looked even smaller ahead. "They won't see it coming," Admiral Carr of the Valari Empire whispered, but Earth saw everything. On Earth's moon, something hidden began to open. Not a building, not a base, but a shell made of dark metal and light-bending plates. It had no name in Earth's records, only a signal code. Project Eclipse. Inside it, ancient machines hummed to life, not old as in broken, but old as in prepared, created decades ago by minds too afraid to share their work with the world, because even Earth itself feared what they had built, and now that fear had become its greatest weapon. Above Mars, the alien fleet noticed a signal spike, not from Earth, but from behind them. "Something moved," said a nervous pilot. "What moved?" his commander snapped. Then it happened. Mars, dead and red, went dark. Not from an explosion, but from a wave of shadow. A black field had spread across space, cutting off every sensor. The stars were no longer visible. The galaxy's eyes were blind. EMP. No, something worse. It's like the stars themselves were erased. Then the first ship disappeared. Earth's weapon was not just power, it was invisibility. A special wave called the silencer had been developed. It didn't destroy electronics, it confused them. Ships began spinning, targeting systems failed, thousands of shells. Lion pilots were flying blind in the dark, and Earth's ships had no lights at all. They were built for war in pure silence. A swarm of black darts flew from Earth's side of the solar system, small, fast, impossible to track. These weren't ships with crews. They were AI-born hunters, and they didn't miss. On Earth, General Maya stood before a screen with no sound, only red dots slowly vanishing one by one. "We call it the blackout," she told her staff. "We built it to shut down space itself." Someone asked, "Should we send a message to the Senate now?" She shook her head. "No," she said. Let the survivors do that for us. In the Galactic Fleet, Admiral Carr tried to give an order, but his voice didn't work. His comms were dead. He watched as 3 ships near him suddenly broke apart. Silent, clean, no explosions, just metal torn like paper by something they couldn't see. His own ship shook. The lights flickered. Then, nothing. He woke up moments later in an escape pod, floating, drifting, alone, looking out into black space. He saw only wreckage and something else, something moving but not shining. A shape, large and black, passed near his pod. It didn't look like a ship. It looked like a shadow with teeth. Then it vanished. Back on the alien homeworlds, the Senate was in chaos. No signal, no survivors reporting back. We've lost over half the fleet. The historian stood again. Her voice shook, not with fear, but with warning. You poked the fire, and now it's burning, she said. You wanted to crush Earth, but they were already awake, Zothan growled. They ambushed us. No, she replied. They warned you. You ignored them. Now Earth is not fighting to win. They are fighting to teach. Back in orbit, Earth's drones stopped. They didn't chase the remaining ships. They didn't destroy everything. They just sat in silence, letting the few survivors escape. Not because of mercy, but because Earth wanted them to carry the fear back home. In the Titan Command Center, Maya finally spoke. Begin cleanup. Do we continue the fight? One officer asked. She looked up at the screen, at the dots turning green again. No, she said. They've already lost. And far above, space itself was still quiet, but not peaceful, because the stars had been shut down, and the galaxy would never forget the day Earth turned off the light. They called it overkill. The survivors limped back to their homeworlds, ships torn open, crews missing, AI cores fried, their eyes wide with a fear no battle had ever left in them before. They didn't speak of glory. They spoke of shadows that hunted in silence, of machines that moved like ghosts, and of a planet that never sent a single voice. Only destruction. The Galactic Senate met again, but this time no one yelled, no one shouted for war. They sat frozen as a single question echoed in the chamber. Why did Earth stop? They could have finished the job. They had the power to erase entire fleets, but Earth pulled back, let them escape. Why? Zothan stood slowly, still shaken. They let us live, he whispered, but they didn't have to. The historian, calm as always, replied, because humans don't destroy to win. They destroy to make a point. On Earth, General Maya stood before a live global feed, no lies, no cover-up. She spoke to the planet with calm words. Today, Earth was tested, she said, and we answered. The world had questions. Did we win? Are we safe? Will they come again? Maya gave only one reply. They'll think twice. In deep orbit near Saturn, Earth's second fleet waited, not made of human pilots, but machines, silent, sharp, perfect. They hadn't moved during the battle. They weren't needed. But now, they activated. Not to fight, but to clean. They moved through space gathering wreckage, scanning alien tech, studying their enemies, not out of curiosity, but for or future upgrades. Earth hadn't shown its full hand, that battle near Mars. That was just the warning shot. The alien news channels lit up across the galaxy. Images of Earth's strange dark weapons, black spheres that bent light, drones that used silence as a shield, beams that melted hulls without heat. It was too much. Too perfect. They could have used less force, said one alien leader. They used overkill. They went beyond necessary. But the historian shook her head. No, they used exactly what was needed. Because Earth's message was never, we can fight. It was, we are already prepared to finish what you start. A small alien delegation tried to send a peace message to Earth, simple words, polite and formal, but Earth didn't reply. Not because they didn't hear it, but because they were watching. In a silent base deep beneath the Pacific, a new AI woke up. Codename, Spectre. It read the message, paused, and placed it into a file labeled, Diplomatic Delay. Observe first. Earth didn't trust words anymore, they trusted actions. Elsewhere in the galaxy, new fleets were being built, not to attack Earth, but to protect themselves from Earth. The very empires that once laughed at humanity now whispered in fear. Don't poke the Terrans, they warned each other. Don't enter their space. And slowly, the map of the galaxy changed. One section became marked in red, not owned by any empire, no trade routes, no ships passing through. Only one word was stamped across it in bold galactic standard. Earth. Inside the Senate, fear turned into arguments again. Zothan tried to regain his pride. They only won because we underestimated them. But another senator replied, they didn't win, Zothan. They didn't even fight at full strength. That's when the screen lit up with a final image. One of the surviving captains had recorded it, just before blackout, a glimpse of Ea, Earth's real warship. Not the small drones, not the hunters, but a massive triangular ship hidden in Saturn's ring so big it blocked the stars behind it. It had not moved, had not fired, just watched, and written along its side were 3 words in English, do not follow. The Senate room fell into silence again. No one wanted to speak anymore because Earth didn't act out of rage. It acted like a parent tired of being tested. Overkill? No. Earth had simply used just enough to say, we could have done worse, and we still might. Voices begging for mercy. They had sent ships. They had voted for war. They had called Earth a threat. And now, they were begging Earth to talk. The once proud Galactic Senate sent 12 peace requests in 3 days, each one more desperate than the last. No reply came, only silence. It wasn't that Earth couldn't hear. It was that Earth was choosing not to speak. On the 3rd moon of the Veldari system, an emergency council was called. Leaders of all major empires arrived. Zothan sat with his head lowered, the bravest voice in the galaxy, now quiet as a child. They will strike again, said the Lithari Prime. No, answered the old historian. They already did. This is not silence, this is waiting. The others looked at her, confused. She continued, Earth is not responding, because they are watching. They want to see who lies, who schemes, who's still planning revenge. One ambassador asked, then what do we do? The historian looked him in the eye and said, you kneel. Back on Earth, inside Titan Command, General Maya received another signal. Peace offering, her assistant said. She opened it, read the words slowly. We surrender. Teach us your terms. But Earth had no terms. Not yet. Because Earth didn't want surrender, they wanted understanding, and that had to be earned. So instead of responding, Earth sent back a file. Not words, not images, just data. A collection of every war Earth had fought, every broken treaty, every time peace had been used as a trap. It was a messa. That said, we remember. In Senate space, the aliens opened the file and went silent. They watched the videos, humans burning cities, humans saving children, humans building, humans destroying, and one thing became clear. Earth wasn't unpredictable. Earth was just too honest for the galaxy. They didn't hide their pain. They didn't lie about their hate. They showed both, side by side, and now the aliens understood. They weren't fighting monsters. They were standing before a species that had already survived its own darkness and came out stronger. On the world of Vantar 6, a group of scientists activated a relay to Earth. Not a message this time, but a gift. Technology from their own empire, medical AI systems, star mapping data, a way of saying, we don't want to fight, we want to join. At Titan Command, General Maya watched the data arrive. She nodded once, then sent a signal to the UN Space Council. It's starting, she said. What is? One leader asked. Balance, she replied. They've stopped treating us like animals. She looked out the window toward the stars and said quietly, now let's see who's worthy of speaking to Earth. Meanwhile, not all worlds begged. Some plotted in silence, hiding fleets, rearming ships. But Earth knew that too. Satellites caught energy spikes in strange regions, spy drones picked up encrypted messages, and Earth marked those empires red on their private maps. They will make their move, one officer said. General Maya replied, and when they do, we won't warn them again. In the heart of the galaxy, a child asked her elder, why does everyone fear Earth? The elder replied, because they already had their apocalypse, and they survived it. That makes them unstoppable. The child thought for a moment, are they bad? The elder smiled sadly. No, they're just done being pushed. And far above, Earth's final warning flow. Ted silently, a small beacon orbiting a dead moon. It blinked one message in every language, every code, every frequency. We came in peace. You came with guns. Now, you come with mercy. And the stars learned something new that day. It's not the loudest who are the most dangerous. It's the ones who stay quiet after the fight because they're the ones who choose when it ends. The day humanity took the throne, there was no war cry, no marching armies, no flaming skies, just silence. And a chair, the galactic throne placed at the center of the Senate chamber, had stood empty for 3,000 years. No empire had dared to sit in it. No species had been accepted by all to lead until now, and the one who stepped forward to claim it was human. General Maya didn't wear armor. She didn't carry a weapon. She walked through the great marble gates in a simple black coat. Behind her, no army, only silence. Every senator watched as she climbed the steps. Not one protested, not one spoke. They had already lost, not just in battle, but in spirit, because they knew humanity had already taken control. Now they were simply making it official. In the far corner, the old historian smiled gently. She does not rule with fear, she whispered. She rules with warning. One senator leaned in. Will she destroy us? No, the historian replied. She will protect us from ourselves. Because humans had learned something the galaxy had forgotten. Power is not just in how you strike, but in knowing when not to. Maya stood before the throne but didn't sit. Instead, she spoke. One voice, no translator needed. The entire chamber could feel the meaning of her words. We came in peace, she said. You sent spies. We opened our arms. You sent fleets. She paused, looking across hundreds of alien leaders. And when you lost, you begged, you offered gifts, you remembered kindness, not because you understood, but because you were afraid. She stepped closer to the throne, still not touching it. We don't want your worlds, she said. We don't want your gold. We don't want to rule your skies. Then her voice grew sharp, quiet but sharp. We want space to breathe. She raised one hand and a 3D map appeared. It showed Earth's territory, not expanded but protected. The red zone from earlier had grown larger, not from conquest, but from warning borders. Inside those borders, no alien ships could enter, no weapons could pass. Only peace, on Earth's terms. If you come to trade, she said, come with open hands. If you come to learn, come with respect. But if you come again with weapons, she looked directly at Zothan. We won't hold back. Then for the first time she turned and sat on the throne. No guard stopped her, no system rejected her. The ancient sensors scanned her DNA, her mind, her pulse, approved. The great lights of the chamber shifted, golden beams focused on her, and across the galaxy screens lit up with one message. New steward appointed, humanity recognized as galactic authority. In the Veldari slums, a boy pointed at the screen. Mom, who is she? She's the new protector, the mother said. She's from Earth. The boy frowned. But they said Earth was dangerous. The mother nodded. Yes, she said, but sometimes danger is what keeps peace. Back on Earth, people didn't cheer. There was no parade, just quiet relief, because Earth had never wanted a throne. They just wanted respect, and now they had it. Earned, not given. A final message went out from the throne room. Not a warning, not a threat, just a promise. We will not rule you, but if you raise your weapons against the innocent again, we will return, not as soldiers, but as judges. And so the stars had a new law. Not written in books, but in the memory of the day. Earth didn't burn the galaxy, even when it had the chance to. That restraint became legend, that choice became power, and the galaxy whispered for generations. They called human eyes. Dangerous, and they were right, but thank the stars, they chose to be kind instead.